some interesting resolutions and best practices. And over the next 2 days, we will continue to speak about service, adoration, and illumination. So to continue the SSSIO service across the world segment, we'd like to call upon our next speaker, and that is Mr. Jirka Blazek. He is a member of the SSSIO Media Committee and the SSSIO Digital Media Subcommittee Chair, and the Central Coordinator of Zone 7, Region 71, which includes Germany, Austria, the Czech Republic, and Hungary. He has held a number of positions in the SSSIO over the last 25 years. He was a designer of the Zone 7 newsletter magazine and Zone 7 media coordinator. Mr. Blazek graduated from the Charles University in Prague in Czech Republic, where he teaches as a guest lecturer. He works as a management consultant. We are blessed to have him here today to talk about the humanitarian relief across Europe. I hand you over. It is my prized privilege and honor, Mr. Jirka Blazek. Sairam.
Sairam? Sairam? Oh, nice. This works? Oh, nice. Dearest Swami, respected elders, sisters, brothers, loving greetings to all of you. Sometimes we feel, we come to a conference, we buy a ticket, we book accommodation, we invest some energy and money and time into this. But I realized it is not entirely true. The truth is that the only reason we are here is because we have been drawn all here through the magnetic power of the divine love. And that is the more important part than the other part. Now, Sathya Sai taught us that for this magnetic power that draws us through his love, the object actually needs to be free of rust. It needs to be not covered in dirt. So everyone here, being here, is a testament to all of you that you have been all purified enough to be able to be drawn by this divine love. It is easy to feel this love here when we are here in the Sai family and among friends and Sai family close to Swami. Sometimes when we are at home, we face difficulties. We may feel we're far away, we're alone. We may even feel we are far away from Swami. How do we keep the fire of divine love going in our heart in this situation? Swami has taught us that the best way to practice this love, to keep the fire of the love going in our hearts, is by practicing selfless service, by doing seva. And I want to talk about selfless service being done in Ukraine. Now, a little bit of introduction about Ukraine. For us in Europe, these are our neighbors. Many people are here from different parts of the world, so let me just give you an introduction very shortly about situation in Ukraine. Ukraine has been in war for 2.5 years now. Even today, at this time, there are more than 5 million people who are displaced. They are refugees in their own country. More than 11 million people in Ukraine has faced hunger. More than a third of the population has faced mental issues, anxieties, and disorders. Now, Sathya Sai organization in Northern Europe, Zone 7, has started providing service as soon as this situation started 2.5 years ago by adopting one orphanage. This has grown over time to now 3 adopted orphanages, over 100 families that are displaced. And now there's a new project that just arrived a few days ago. There are 200 more people of these internal refugees and 23 children. And there are many, many elderly people that are being held. Some of them are so old that they cannot even leave the war zones. And in the war zone, it's very difficult to even get the basic needs covered. The scope of service that is provided, it includes food, clothing, toys, stationery, torchlights, medical supplies, kitchen appliances, technical tools, and household items, and more as we find what the needs are in a particular time. Here is a video of one delivery being packed by the devotees. One of the reasons I wanted to share this video with you is that the service we are providing is not only for the people who are hungry or who are in need, but also the joy that the devotees derive when preparing these packages with love is great. And one of the things we've learned is that when we send this material help, this matter, which obviously is important because they are in need, this is only one part of what is being sent. It is so important for the people in Ukraine to know that somebody cares about them, somebody is thinking about them, that they are not alone, forgotten by the world, which is maybe even more important than the material part of it. Here you can see the children in orphans receiving some of the packages. I wanted to share with you 2 personal stories because I can tell you many more numbers about how many boxes we ship and so on, and we may get to that towards the end. But I wanted to share with you how this help can touch people's lives. And I want to start by telling you about Maxim. Maxim is a boy who has always wanted to be a football player. He grew up in the city of Kharkiv, which is in Ukraine. And he was a member of the local football club, and he was training every day. Whenever he had spare time, he was playing with his friend or training. Until when he was 8, he was just about to leave for another football match or training session. And his mother just rushed home. She grabbed him by an arm, she put him in the car, and they drove away because war was coming literally on the outskirts of the city. Luckily, they found another place in Ukraine where they took care, where they had a place to stay and they have things to eat. But Maxim was sad because very soon he found there's a football club even in this new place where they were staying. But in Ukraine, because they're in war, it's so difficult economically. If you want to play in a football club, you need to bring your own jersey. They do not provide. You even need your own shoes and even a football to do your self-training. So the SSSIO found out and decided to support this talented Maxim. And here is a video where he is sharing, he's showcasing the jersey and the football. And actually, he's reporting in Ukrainian, but he's reporting he's already played the first match for his new team and they have won. And this is already almost a year ago. Now we thought we helped Maxim and now he's going to develop his career, but that wasn't it. Only 4 or 5 months later, he was working so hard that his talents were noticed, and his talents were noticed by a regional team. So now he's been promoted. And again, he's going to need a new jersey to play for the higher league. So the story continues there with Maxim. The orphans that I've mentioned that live in the orphanages that are adopted. Now, when these children are 16, they need to leave the orphanage and start education so that they can get a job and start an independent life. So can you imagine, you have no family, you have no one to support you, you're 16 and you need to go out and stand for yourself. It's very difficult in a normal situation. Now imagine how difficult it is in a country at war. So more than 100 of these young people now are also being supported. And again, when they want to pursue education, if they want to be a mechanic, for example, they need to bring their own tools. They need to bring their own screwdrivers and hammers and all the other tools. So this is another line of support being provided to these young people. Here you can see some boys who are showing their toolboxes that were sent, and that they help them to actually attend the school and do this education. There is one more story I'd like to share with you about a girl this time, but let me start in Germany, because this story actually started in Germany when they were collecting things for another delivery to Ukraine. And one lady came, you know, most of them are bringing clothing and the usual items. One of the lady comes and she brought a sewing machine. And she said, you know, I bought it. I thought I was going to do some, but no, it's not really for me. So haven't been used for 2 years. So why maybe someone can, they thought, well, what are they going to do? But there was space just for one more box in the car, okay? So they put it there and they send it to Ukraine. Now, let's transport to somewhere in Ukraine where there's an orphan girl who has dreamt since she was a little girl. She's dreamt about becoming a dressmaker, making dresses for princesses. This has been her dream. But there's an issue. She's 16. She's leaving the orphanage now in next month. She doesn't have anyone to turn to get a sewing machine, because just like with the tools, if you want to study to become a dressmaker, you need to bring your own sewing machine. So now you can imagine what happened when the boxes came to Ukraine. Immediately, some of the local people made a connection and remembered this wonderful girl. So they brought the sewing machine to her. And they actually sent us a message. And they said she was dancing for 20 minutes with joy around the table where they put the sewing machine. And again, the story doesn't end there. Usually the period for which they study is 2 years, and then they can apply for a job. This girl has been working so hard and she's so talented that only after 6 months she's been offered a full-time job that now she can do and support herself and continue also with her studies. I have shared stories with you about 2 young people, but I want to stress that most of the people supported are the elderly, that there are many elderly people who need help. And I also want to say that the Ukrainians are so grateful. They are expressing gratitude so much, sending letters of gratitude, taking pictures, sending short videos like you have seen of Maxim. There are so many of them. So it's very rewarding also for brothers and sisters in Germany and neighboring country who are organizing this. One thing I would like to mention before I close is I just want to say I'm so grateful to the brothers and sisters here from Kenya for hosting us here in such a wonderful way, and actually also showing us in practice how selfless service looks in everyday life. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you, Mr. Jirka Blazek. Next, it is with great pleasure that I invite our Central Coordinator for Sri Lanka's Zone 4. Having started his journey in the organization as a Balvika student in 1981, Brother Manoharan is best known by all for his many years of passionate service at Swami's lotus feet. Since his days as a young adult, he has served in many positions in the various wings of the organization at center, regional, national, and international level, and is now quite fondly known as the youngest and most energetic National Council president to have served from 2017 to 2022. Academically, he holds an MBA in Management of Technology and a Bachelor of Science in Information Systems. Professionally, he's currently serving as the Senior Vice President and Head of E-Government Project at SICOM. Please welcome Mr. Vignarajah Manoharan to present the key seva activities carried out in Sri Lanka.
Thank you, sister, for the lovely introduction. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Lord Bhagawan Baba. Sairam to all respected elders, brothers and sisters. I would like to read out a discourse, a part of discourse from Swami on seva. The present is a product of the past and also the seed for the future. If you make good use of the present, you can ensure a better future. If you misuse the present, the future will be worse. Hence, all those who are in the Sathya Sai Seva organization should engage themselves in worthwhile activities and achieve fulfillment in the service they render. Every village today is exposed to many diseases. We did not blame anyone for this situation. We must be concerned only about the resources in men and materials at our disposal and use them with devotion for carrying out welfare services. We must do this work with faith. People display devotion and earnestness in the presence of Swami, but act in contrary fashion when they are away from Swami. This is not a sign of true bhakti. Devotion means wholehearted love for Bhagawan. Such love can tame even wild animals. Only when your hearts are filled with such love can you claim to be a devotee. You must show that love to anyone whom you see or talk, and in every one of your actions. Unquote. The Sathya Sai International Organization Sri Lanka has been involved in many seva activities in Sri Lanka by the divine grace of Swami. Our main focus is on uplifting people of need who are below poverty level to improve their level of standards of living. We are involved, we have adopted 29 villages in Sri Lanka, out of which 5 were adopted this year. The young adults actually this year started a new program, which is part of their leadership program, where they are involved in 12 villages, where they help children from needy families to continue with their education, help them with tutoring, and also other help so that they don't drop out of school and complete their studies. They also help them in many other ways. One is also have EHV programs for them. So this is a program which is part of our village development, which was started this year. There are many other programs like we run our own cancer hospice, we run 2 home for the elders, medical programs, and many others. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We have prepared a video presentation which would probably explain to you better than me talking. Media team, can you please play the video, please?
The Sri Sathya Sai International Organization of Sri Lanka is dedicated to the one who is beyond name and form, who is an incarnation of love. In a humble effort of propagating the message of our dearest Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, we offer a glimpse of activities that were carried out in various parts of Sri Lanka under His divine grace. Inspired by our dear Bhagawan and with the sole aim of providing care to those diagnosed with terminal illness for cancer, the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization Sri Lanka built and inaugurated the Sri Sathya Sai Suvasavana Cancer Hospice in Hangwenda, a small town which is roughly 30 kilometers away from the capital city of Colombo. This facility accommodates up to 35 patients and provides accommodation, comfort, and loving palliative care to terminally ill cancer patients. Since its inception, over 330 terminally ill cancer patients have found love and care within the walls of this hospice. During the year 2017, subsequent to identifying a dire need to provide love and care to the elderly citizens hailing from underprivileged families, the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization Sri Lanka built the Sri Sathya Sai Home for Elders in the suburb town of Meegoda, which is situated south of the capital city of Colombo. Sai Elders Home, Vavuniya, was inaugurated in the year 2018 and is situated in Vavuniya in the north-central region of Sri Lanka. The home has the capacity to accommodate 50 inmates. Currently, about 9 elders are being looked after in this home. The Sri Sathya Sai International Organization of Sri Lanka empowered communities and improved their quality of life by adopting around 29 villages from all parts of the island, out of which 5 villages were identified and adopted over the past 2 years. Over the years, the organization had dedicated to support in constructing more than 76 houses for deserving families from various parts of the island, including the Jaffna Peninsula, Vavuniya district, Kandy, and Nuwara Eliya districts. The organization provides support to the community to help establish small businesses for the needy in helping them generate income. A peanut cultivation project was also initiated for the deserving families from Vidyapuram in Mullaitivu. The organization also supported in providing financial aid, stationaries, school uniforms, bicycles for students, and many more. Freshly cooked meals were also provided to preschool students from the Mullaitivu, North Central, and Eastern regions. Dry ration packs were distributed to more than 1,000 underprivileged families in various parts of Sri Lanka. As part of the Mother and Child Care Program, essential items including nutrition and medical supplies were also distributed to expectant mothers from the western and southern regions. Since the year 2013, the EHP program has been active for selected school children hailing from underprivileged families in collaboration with the Sathya Sai Center in Thaniruttu, Mullaitivu district in the northern region. EHV classes are held for students in the newly constructed Sai Nityalakshmi Hall that was dedicated in facilitating the educational activities of the Education in Human Values program. Currently, close to about 350 students have been enrolled in this EHV program. Cataract surgeries were performed on more than 822 patients from areas spanning across Jaffna, Kilinochchi, Trincomalee, and Vaunia district hospitals. Mobile medical camps were conducted in the adopted village of Sinanveli in Trincomalee and in Alivatta in Mattakulia, Colombo. More than 500 patients benefited from this camp. Sri Lanka had faced a severe economic crisis that significantly hindered the medical institutions due to the shortage of medicines and many more. During this period, the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization Sri Lanka contributed rupees 2.5 million worth of medical equipment and drugs to hospitals throughout the country. Drugs, alcohol, relationship issues, time wastage, and smoking prevention program was initiated to educate the importance of human values and promote a drug-free lifestyle. Around 13 awareness workshops were conducted across various parts of Sri Lanka, including a collaborative darts prevention program with the University of Jaffna and Vaunia. Amid severe weather conditions, devotees from the Sri Sathya Sai Center, Colombo, gathered for a Narayana Seva dedicated to supporting flood-affected communities. More than 600 cooked food parcels were distributed to families that were severely impacted by the floods in the Kelaniya and Vellampitiya areas. The Sri Sathya Sai International Organization of Sri Lanka launched the Pathfinder program. This community upliftment program offers a holistic approach combining educare and socio-care in assisting and empowering underprivileged families and communities across many parts of Sri Lanka. This initiative reinforces young minds through mentorship and guidance alongside supporting in their academics. This initiative aims to break the cycle of poverty and cultivate a brighter future for the generations to come. We are pleased to mention here that the Sai activities in Sri Lanka has been growing despite facing several challenges and has brought us closer to our Mother Sai with a deeper understanding of his teachings and his divine guidance. We pray to our beloved Bhagawan, Sri Sathya Sai Baba, to bless us so that we continue to love and serve him always. Jai Sai Ram.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Swami and Dr. Reddy and Brother Samasiva Rao for giving us this opportunity to present our activities. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you, Brother Manoharan. That was indeed very inspiring and, of course, an epitome of what Swami tells us and how Swami tells us to serve. And I hope that we can do an inch of that service that you and the team have embarked on, and it's inspired us to continue to be servant leaders as well. The Sri Sathya Sai healthcare mission worldwide involves thousands of healthcare professionals who espouse his philosophy and work under his direction. Our next item is a panel which will table a discussion on the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization medical mission through the lenses of service, adoration, and illumination. You know, they say an apple a day keeps the doctors away, but today we have 4 doctors with us, so I don't think the apples were working. But it's my prized privilege to introduce to you the 4 doctors. Our first doctor is Dr. Ramadevi Shankaran. She was born in Tamil Nadu, India, married into a Sai family. She's the medical director, Department of Pediatrics, North Shore Healthcare Centers, Indiana, USA. Adjunct associate professor at Des Moines Medical University, USA. She has participated in many international medical camps, including disaster relief camps, Haiti, Philippines, Ecuador, Kazakhstan, Jamaica, Mexico, Africa, and India. She is also part of the Institute of the Sathya Sai Education in Human Values USA as a faculty member, coordinator of Medical Programs Committee, co-chair of SSSIO International Medical Committee USA, and international coordinator for the EASE program under the Sai 100 program. She has organized medical camps in the USA in collaboration with the local churches for the homeless and needy population. Dr. Ramadevi is passionate about working with the public for public health to improve the overall health of the community, including maternal and child health. With that, we'd like to welcome Dr. Ramadevi. The next doctor is Dr. Bangararaju Kolanuvada, Dr. Raju, and he has served as the National Vice Chairman of the Medical Committee, SSSIO USA, as well as Region 1 USA Medical Director and Associate Program Director of the Montefiore Mount Vernon Hospital in New York, USA. He studied at Gandhi Medical College in Hyderabad, India. He currently serves as the Medical Director of the Ambulatory Services and Addiction Services and Chief of Staff at the Montefiore Mount Vernon Hospital. Welcome to Dr. Bangararaju. The next doctor is Dr. Sunil Kadiyala, who is a dedicated family medicine doctor in private practice who has been living in Botswana since 1997. He was born and raised in Andhra Pradesh. Dr. Sunil has been blessed to be in touch with Bhagawan's teachings since birth, instilled by his mother, an ardent devotee of Swami. Dr. Sunil serves as the Zone 9 Medical Director and is a member of both the International Medical Committee and the International Disaster Relief Committee of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization. Additionally, he is the chairman of the Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust of Botswana. Professionally, Dr. Sunil is also the trusted private physician to Botswana's vice president and his family, and has the privilege of traveling with the vice president during official tours, ensuring their health and well-being. Dr. Sunil is passionate about bringing transformational change to healthcare services in Africa. With Swami's blessings, he is working towards establishing permanent clinics in all the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization countries in Zone 9. For those of you who are not aware, a permanent BP clinic was established on Swami's Mahasamadhi Day this year, followed by a BP clinic in Tanzania, currently in pilot stage. These efforts build on the success of international medical camps held in Benin last year and Tanzania this year. To further Swami's medical mission, Dr. Sunil is committed to forming a dedicated medical team in Zone 9 under the direction of Dr. Narendranath Reddy. Welcome, Dr. Sunil. And our fourth doctor and the last doctor for the panel today is Dr. Neelam Patel. She was introduced to Swami at the age of 7. She and her family were blessed to have made several trips to Puttaparthi and received direct guidance from Swami. Throughout the years, she has participated in several programs during pilgrimages to Puttaparthi, including plays and musical offerings in Swami's divine physical presence. She is an SSC alumnus and continues to support the SSE program in various capacities in her center and region. She currently serves as the SSSIO USA Region 8 Medical Director and Center President of the Sri Sathya Sai Center of Glendale. She is practicing endocrinologist in Los Angeles. Om Sai Ram and welcome to Dr. Neelam Patel. I now hand you over to the panel.
Saira. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our dearest Mother Sai. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of Antaryami Sai, present in all of you. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. And there is a disclaimer. We have decided not to have any videos because we had enough of videos. So just to give a break to your eyes, we are not going to project any videos. It's going to be just a heart-to-heart conversation. So through this medical mission, we have portrayed how many patients we served and things like that. So we kind of reflected on ourselves through the lenses of Sai, service, adoration, illumination, what it did to us. So that is a very important aspect of our own internal journey. So that's what we are going to focus on through this panel. And just to recap our medical mission, it is based on 5 pillars. Universal healthcare. Our dearest Mother Sai is always passionate about universal healthcare. That is healthcare to all the corners of the world. So through taking that into heart, we're working really hard to take this medical mission to all parts of the world through telehealth, mobile clinics. We are still working towards that progress. So I'm going to just touch a little bit upon all those aspects due to the time constraint. So free healthcare, you all witness how many medical camps and international disaster medical camps has been conducted as well. And Swami reiterate, it's not just the universal healthcare and free healthcare. It has to be a compassionate healthcare. It has to be done with love and compassion. So that's what we are going to focus on through this panel discussion. And it has to be comprehensive healthcare. Comprehensive in the sense body, mind, and spirit. So Swami has given us beautiful tools. And the 5 human values are the prescription to practice the comprehensive way of medical care. And also, a Divine Mother reiterates on the preventive health care. So that means prevention is better than cure. We all know that. And talking about this in Kenya and Africa as such, there are so many diseases that can be prevented in Africa by conducting so many medical camps, which Dr. Sunil is working really hard with the international medical team to bring about changes in Africa as well. And just to give an update on the latest data about the malaria death is 580,000 children under the age of 5, they die because of lack of medicine for malaria. It is really saddening to even hear that. And in the past 2 years, we have been doing the medical campaign last year in Nigeria and Benin. Every other child had malaria. If we had not been there, the child would have died. So that prevalent that malaria is, and we really have to work very hard. And with the medical mission, it's not just the doctors. 10 of us can go and do magic. We need non-medical volunteers as well. So we really request all of you to put your heart and soul, think about it, how we can improve and conduct many more medical camps in every part of the world so that we can prevent diseases, which is very dear and near to our Mother Sai. So with that, let's go to the panel discussion. The first question I wanted to ask Dr. Sunil. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunil, for joining us. So can you please talk about the Sai medical clinics that is being conducted in different parts in Africa?
Sairam panel members, Sairam everyone. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagawan, Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Sister, in Africa, there are 19 countries under the SSSIO, of which medical activities are taking place in 10 countries. Out of the 10 countries, 5 of them have permanent clinics. So the permanent clinics are, number 1, in Kenya. Kenya has a full-time permanent clinic which operates 5 times a week, which has medical and dental facilities and treats hundreds of patients every day. We then move on to Tanzania. After our recent international medical camp in April, Brother Krishnan, the NCP of Tanzania, was inspired to start a permanent mobile blood pressure clinic. And it is in its pilot stage now. Along with that, we also have the opportunity to start a dental clinic, which is at its advanced stage. We have ordered the chair and we are now sourcing the accessories. From Tanzania, we move on to Madagascar. There is a long-standing medical clinic in Madagascar, which is being run by Brother Krishna Rambajan and his team. They have a medical clinic that operates twice a week. Apart from that, they provide powdered milk to malnourished children. And they also provide or offer financial support to patients who need treatment at bigger hospitals like surgeries and other things. From there, we move on to Botswana, where I come from. Botswana has been having a full-time medical clinic operating every Sunday from the past 17 years. It offers medical, dental, eye, pharmacy, ultrasound, and physiotherapy services. The clinic has been operational in all the 17 years, every Sunday non-stop. A standout point of that clinic is we have a paperless system from patient registration to dispensing medication. Apart from that, we also have an SMS system because when we first started this clinic, patients used to queue from 4 a.m. in the morning. In winter, it's very cold and it's sometimes -degrees. And many of them would go back disappointed because we couldn't cater for more than 100 patients at a time. After we started using this SMS system, patients can now send an SMS at 5 a.m. And if they get an acknowledgement and a token number, they can come at 9 o'clock to see the doctors. This has proved to be very effective in patient volume control and helping us to treat the patients more efficiently. From Botswana, we move on to Benin. In Benin, after our international medical camps, which you were all part of last year, where we went from Nigeria to Benin, we found that most adult populations suffer from malignant hypertension. Malignant hypertension is a condition where the blood pressure is over 180 by 120. They can end up having a stroke or a heart attack at any time, as you are aware. So upon inquiries, we noticed that most patients have a genetic condition causing high blood pressure, and at the same time, they default on medication because they simply cannot afford. So after that, with efforts from our International Medical Committee Chairman, Dr. Dinesh, and our IMC Secretary, Sister Urvi, and Brother Fego, the NCP for Benin, I'm glad to inform you that we started an international blood pressure clinic in Benin. Apart from that, we also do blood sugar testing. The main thing is patients now come bi-monthly and they collect their medication like every 3 months. It means they will keep rotating every 3 months. And everybody is happy. After 3 months of its effectiveness, we see that most people are now going back to work because they have become productive and they can support their families. In summary, sister, our clinics not only provide essential medical services, but we also identify the challenges in each region and tailor-make the services accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This wonderful elaborate report. And I would like to know, could you please share the impact at the personal level and the community level? What's the transformation you notice after the medical camps? Any awareness about the health?
Thank you. I'll keep it brief because time is short. The impact varies from country to country. For example, when you look at the permanent clinics and the medical camps, the assurance that people get that this clinic is there makes them happy and confident and comfortable. When it comes to the blood donation camps, the impact of these camps is immediate and life-saving. I'll give you the example of Mauritius. In Mauritius, they do a bi-weekly blood donation camp, which can collect up to 100 pints each time. And they do a twice a year mega blood donation camp, which can collect up to 500 pints each time. This is huge. This liquid love is huge. And Mauritius has received numerous presidential awards because of this activity. Similar activities of the kind are also done in Malawi, Botswana, and South Africa. We also look at primary prevention. Primary prevention is to educate people so that they don't suffer or get more critical illnesses. We do that in the form of health education, postures, lectures, and other audio-video equipment. Saira.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sunil, for sharing your thoughts. And there is a lot more work to be done in Africa. And by dear Mother's grace and your guidance and your leadership, we can accomplish that. Thank you so much. Next, your panelist, Dr. Raju. Sairam, Dr. Raju, thank you so much for joining us. So you have attended many international and you conducted so many medical camps in the USA as well.
Yes.
And you collaborate with the community so beautifully, not just the Sai doctors, you integrate the local community, public health. Could you please elaborate on that?
Loving Sairam to all of you who are present here. And with immense gratitude to Bhagawan, who has sown that seed of service. It dates back to Prashanthi Nilayam, the medical camps, sister. So which went on till 2019 under the tutelage of Bhagawan, wherein we used to sit in the darshan, where Radha Bhattina and Dr. Sarojini, these people along with which I started my journey in Prashanthi, Swami used to ask how many people have come, where are you sitting, what time you are going to start your medical camp. He used to look at the Rahu column. In other words, what is an auspicious time? Despite he is the navigator, you know. So, and that's how the journey used to start. And he sent us and taught few things by working in the hospital there itself and going to the villages, and wherein he used to monitor at what time we should go and what time you come back. And he told at that time, I'll send you in a bus, which is right now, I think, is going into the villages and it is taken by leaps and bounds. That's what brother is talking about, setting up a blood pressure mobile camp. I think that's offshoot of that. Now I see that what Swami meant. And during that period of time, so Swami used to watch so closely when he has sent us to the schools also, his schools wherein we did the physicals. So under his tutelage, when we picked up that, then it came to our international medical camps, wherein I'm just trying to recap how we got that energy from, and the source is the force, is Bhagawan, no one else. He's the one who creates a scenario. He is the one who puts the hurdle. He's the one who solves, and he's the one who gives the joy, saying that you have done it. So in that context, so there were a few international medical camps. I would like to share a couple of incidences which are going to be catchy rather than telling those numbers and figures. So we had been to Haiti when there was an earthquake. There were several aftershocks which were there. And in Guyana, we had been to several medical camps under the direction of Swami itself. And brothers told about Nigeria and Benin. So under the tutelage of close monitoring of Dr. Narendranath Reddy and Sam Sivaragar, who happened to be also in these medical camps. In Haiti, I want to make just a mention of the incidents. So we were serving ourselves in a big church and a small church. There was a huge crowd that is there. They don't have water. And with these aftershocks, they were all under frenzy state, not able to sleep, not having clothes, not able to drink any water. Suddenly, they brought one patient who's totally pale. And when I looked at it, there's no pulse. I thought this guy is going to collapse right then and there itself. Then intensely, I called for Swami Arthatrana Parayanaya Namaha. We chant those 108 names, right? Those who are in distress, he comes right away. And there's a young man with a walkie-talkie putting on himself goggles, and he keeps jumping and he rolls into the church. Then I said, can I use your car? He said, yes. So along with him, he took us there. There, Mount Sinai Hospital was conducting a huge medical camp of all these critically ill patients. A day before, I think during the earthquake, there's a huge building which fell down where 200 people was buried just live there. So in that area where we took this guy, and he's having a hemoglobin of 4, very low, and they transfused, and the patient survived. This is not the first time Bhagawan has done. At every person's personal life, every person's medical camp, whether it is here or elsewhere, he comes to the rescue. That is what has derived that energy, and that's what has motivated, and that's what has brought me up to this level. And one more thing, sister, with your kind permission, I want to tell about Prashanti. There, the medical camps were happening. So in 2010, that's when Swami's 85th birthday was there. Almost 10,000 patients were pouring in. And I have met several of people over there from all the countries where we were doing the medical camps. Suddenly, the students have brought the ex-principal there who passed out. And we brought him into our acute care, and we looked at it. He's having VTAC, which is a fatal rhythm with which he can die then and there self. Swami, please save me, not this time, not here, not in your heavenly abode, please. So then we are intensely praying, and we brought our ambulance. There was a lot of crowd. You can't even get out. You know, during birthday times, how heavy the rush is. Swami made sure that he's wheeled up all the way up to the ICU. And they gave a shock, and he got back to normal rhythm, and he did very well. Swami is the motivator. Swami is the healer. This is all, whatever that we are planning is because of his divine and a bigger plan in which he put all of us as instruments. We are navigating through this whole process. I think I gone overboard, I suppose.
Thank you so much for sharing that, brother. I think we all feel the divine hand working through all of us. Through this come, it's not our degree or our achievements that matters. It is our surrender and faith. Thank you so much for sharing that. Next, we'll go to Sister Neelam. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Neelam. So you also do a lot of medical camps involving the community. I'm very interested in how do you involve the community? Because even in African medical camp, we collaborated with the local hospitals. Sometimes even Russian medical camps, we collaborate with the local community. So could you please explain how it's important to collaborate with the local community and know the culture?
So yes, it's with every medical camp, we should know what's happening around that area. And so we start with going out into that community and finding out what the needs are. After finding out the needs, then we find out what resources we have as the organization and what resources we would need. So oftentimes we may not have enough physicians or enough dentists or ophthalmologists. So we'll go out to the community and let them know that we would like to do this medical camp in your own community. Would you like to participate? So to tell a quick story, we had a medical camp in a place called Oxnard, California, which is an area that's underserved, and there's a lot of migrant workers there. And they speak mostly Spanish. So we had reached out to the community and reached out to a couple of doctors. And a doctor said, okay, well, I'll come to the camp and see what this camp is about, and I'll participate. And he came with his wife, who also speaks Spanish, so can interpret for him. He came for the camp. He saw the camp, saw all the good work. He came at the beginning of the camp. During lunchtime, we had to tell him, please go to lunch. He said, no, one more patient, one more patient. No, please go to lunch. No, one more patient. Lunch is going to close. So we had to send him for lunch. He comes back and he stays, and he's the last physician to leave. And he was so inspired by the camp and the work there that he wanted to come back the next year. So the next year when he came back, he brought 2 more physicians from his own practice. And so now we're involving more of the community through his inspiration. I was inspired by him as well. And again, the same thing happened. He won't go to lunch. He came first, and he left last. Following a couple of years later, he brings his son who had recently graduated from his residency program. So like that, with involving the community, not only are we inspired by their work, but they're inspired by what they see around. And so that's how we should go out to the community and bring them along with us.
Thank you so much for sharing that. A very similar incident happened in Des Moines when we did the medical camp also. So she's a local American optometrist. She came for our medical camp, and so she has never done any voluntary work. So the very first patient, as soon as she gave the glass, she was in tears. She thought, I can never see it. I thought I can never see in my lifetime. And she started hugging the doctor and cried. And this doctor started crying. And for the past 12 years, she's not a Sai member, but she attends every time before she leaves. When is the next medical camp? She put me in. She just puts her name in before even she leaves the premises. So that's the transformation we see in the community as well. Thank you so much for sharing. Any other personal Swami moment have you experienced, or any of the devotees have shared with you?
Sure. So there was one devotee that shared this experience with me, that he he works in a hospital, and from his hospital, one of his colleagues, he asked them if they would like to participate in the camp, and they said sure, and they speak Spanish, so she said she'll come to interpret and bring her 2 daughters. So they're all set to come to the camp. The camp is started, and the devotee gets a phone call from these 3 individuals and says that we can't make it because there's a family emergency. So now we've lost 3 interpreters, and interpreters are very important for the medical camp. And as soon as he hangs up the phone, 3 individuals come walking towards him. He doesn't know how they got there. He doesn't know how they found out about the medical camp. But they said, came up to him and said, we would like to participate in the camp, and we speak Spanish. And so Swami didn't even give him a second to think that what am I going to do without having these 3 interpreters? He's the doer. He brought the interpreters to him.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Swami puts through the trouble, and he manifests in different forms. So that's the experience we get to experience when we go to these camps. Thank you so much for sharing the beautiful scenario.
Thank you, Dr. Ramadevi. Thank you. So you've also participated in many camps around the world. And can you share one instance where you felt that Swami was the doer?
Yeah, so let me recollect one of the incidents. Haiti was my first international disaster medical camp. Even though it happened in 2010, it seems like it happened just yesterday to me. Every moment was a Sai moment during the camp. So one day, it was a Thursday morning, around 8:30, a lady, she was holding a baby, 15 or 18 months old baby. She was rushing into the church, crying because the baby was having a seizure. So that was the first international camp. I was like literally shivering. Swami, this baby, we have to save this baby. Like, this is the first medical camp I'm doing. I don't want anything to happen to this baby, because any emergency, we have to send the baby to the local hospital. So I was praying intensely, and then we all ran, and then the cardiologist, the internist, we were all running behind the baby. We went in and then took the baby to a private place. The baby was laying down. I just put my hand and chanted Sai Gayatri. First, let me invoke Swami before I do any medicine. My mind couldn't even think at that moment. We think that, yes, I did pediatrics in India and US, and I have this and that. But at that moment, it is only the divine hand that operates. Before even I completed Sai Gayatri, the seizure completely stopped. And this child did not even have a fever. It was not a febrile seizure. And this child did not have any post-ictal phase. Normally, any child with a seizure, they'll just become limp and they sleep, and then they will have involuntary um, bladder or bowel movement. None of those. This child just sat up like this as if nothing had happened. And we were all witnessing how the divine hand comes. And it is not that I'm going to help it. It was a very humbling moment for me, and I learned it's not just go with faith, surrender, and humility. And I think that's exactly was talked about this morning about service. What are the qualifications for service? Is the humility and surrender. All those qualifications. Swami taught that in the very first medical camp itself. So ever since then, Swami, it's not me going, it's you. Please take me this instrument and do whatever, let your will and your wish prevail. So that's the humility Swami is always teaching us.
That's very nice thing that you have mentioned, Rama and Neelam and Dr. This thing. I just wanted to mention, it's not all about doctors who are conducting the camps. What I wanted to bring to the kind attention of everyone is these things are happening because of the volunteers. They are the main pillars of any medical camp, which we were discussing yesterday. So it's all about, medical camp is all about the back pillars, it's all about the devotees who are becoming, or non-devotees who are coming and participating. And then since we talked about in the service, how can we involve the community is, I think, getting more volunteers into this, and so that they get to know this service is happening. So they'll jump in and come, whether it is a fellow physicians or anyone else coming from in other sectors also. It just speaks a long way in trying to strengthen this further and taking this mission to the next level, and which Swami's vision, right, as initially you mentioned, on all those 4 pillars, I think it moves forward without any iota of doubt.
And it's also one of the beautiful way of community outreach. So that's also part of the Sai 100. So when the other people from outside, when they come and do the service, they experience the love. So that's what that pulls them. And then they wanted to know more about Swami. We are not going that they come voluntarily after that. So it's a beautiful transformation. It's a mutual learning process, which also humbles us, actually.
Yes. Speaking of the community, sir, go ahead.
Dr. Sunil, yes.
Okay. I would also like to take this opportunity to request all the senior office bearers to motivate the young adults in your country to join our both medical volunteers as well as non-medical volunteers to join in our medical missions, so that we can take Swami's message forward in a sustainable manner.
Kindly reach out to the central president, your medical director, zone medical director, and the zone chair, so we can create a database so that we are self-sufficient, as well as we can involve more people as well. And
speaking of the community, right, we assess the community needs wherever they are. For example, here when we went to Nigeria and Benin, the malaria is an issue, which you mentioned, those staggering statistics. I would just wanted to narrate one incident which was really striking, which really brought a big transformation. South America, we happened to go to one of the medical camps where Hector Castaneda and these people were there. There's a child who came with not able to breathe well, and immediately that child was transferred to the local hospital. So wherein
yes.
Next day, Rama and myself with the rest of the medical director, we happened to visit the hospital. It took a while. I said, we have to go and see the child. So he had a tracheostomy because he's not able to breathe. So they made a hole here, and the child was kept in the hospital. Only thing was, they were not having the suction apparatus like it's a government hospital. So immediately all of us felt that we should get a suction machine and leave it with them. So that happened. That's not where it ends. Swami, how he closes, just 3-4 days before, that medical director sends me a picture of the child who's just like a budding rose, and this hole is closed, and he's totally healed from whatever is the reason he was not able to breathe, and wherein our intervention, Swami gives these opportunities. If not now, when? This is to transform ourselves to reach to that next level. If not now, when, brothers? That's where I want to say.
Thank you.
Well said.
Do we have time for one last question? So the human values is the foundation of Swami's teachings. And you work with the SSEHV. How do you integrate SSEHV, which is the Sathya Sai Education of Human Values, in the medical sector, the medical practice?
No, thank you for asking that question. Sathya Sai Education Human Values, I think it's the greatest gift Swami has given to humanity. And I'm very passionate about that. My goal is we have to take that to every nook and corner, and every human being should know this. And as a pediatrician, practically speaking, it's very practical. I literally prescribe human values to prevent mental illnesses. And it really, really, really works because it's very basic things, anxiety, depression, all those things, because there is a dis-ease between the mind and the conscience. So that is what is causing the agitation and anxiety, leading to depression and whatnot, all kind of chaos that's happening in the world. So how do you fix that dis-ease that comes through human values? Constantly integrating that awareness that we are that human values that beautifully transforms so many children, especially adolescents. So it is really, really important to integrate human values, not only just the patient perspective, it also helps the physician, because physician burnout or healthcare burnout is a big buzzword, because when we don't practice with love or compassion, then we are definitely going to be burnt out. And the love and the compassion, it energizes us rather than draining our energy. So human values, it's mutually beneficial, both for healthcare workers as well as for our patients. Thank you.
Brother Sunil, I just have a question for you. As Suresh Govind is here, he's talking about Sai 100 in that, right? That's what they wanted to do, 1,000 medical camps, X number of medical camps. I think Africa, in which the magnitude of the problem with which it's going on. So where do you see with that Sai 100, how we can take and reach that goal of those number of medical camps? Do you agree that you have enough potential here?
Sairam, there is definitely a lot of potential to help Africa. Let us all join hands together and do that. We can definitely achieve our target.
Simple malaria, I just wanted to bring one issue where Swami personally took so much interest. I can't resist talking about this. I visited General Hospital wherein the dengue fever was to the fullest extent, that is caused by the mosquito itself, and wherein Swami personally supervised, and he started a project during that period of time, and wherein going and spraying in each village so that the dengue fever can go, as so that he cannot wipe it out just with the whiff of his hand. So he supervised that, wherein again, here also there is a similar malaria issue there, wherein it has a large magnitude, and in the form of, they were talking about mosquito nets that they were giving it in the past, and in various ways. I think this is a simple problem, but it's a major problem. This is at the grassroots level. If this can be handled, I think that will be one of the biggest things that we can do in this country. I think Swami has brought us to this place, is to take care of that magnitude of the problems that this country has it. And from this, we can learn and emulate these things and spread similar message, whichever zone we belong to.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or if you want detailed reports, we didn't present any statistics, you can always visit satyasai.org. And Eternal Companion has a lot of detailed articles about medical camps. If you're interested, please visit those websites. You can always reach out to us anytime. If you wanted to volunteer, kindly reach out to us so we can discuss and we can collaborate and work together. So with that, I think thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. And I would like to thank Brother Rao for taking this so much of effort, doing the 3-country medical camp just 2.5 months ago. That's a mega project. And then within 2 months, having this international conference, just with the faith and surrender, I think he did it. It is with such a humility, he did it. So it's a learning experience. I was like, wow, that's a learning experience in his leadership. I really commend on him as well. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, doctors. Let the different faiths exist, and let them flourish. Respect the differences between the faiths and recognize them as valid as far as they do not extinguish the flame of unity. Our next panel is an interfaith panel, so I'd like to welcome on stage Bishop Dr. John Warari, Mrs. Sujata Kotumaraju, and Bante Umla. Our first speaker is Dr. John Warari, the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya. Dr. John is the national chairman of the Kenya Christian Forum and regional chairman of the Kahawa West Pastors Fellowship. He has a PhD in biblical studies and theology. He has served for 8 years on the executive board for Religious Council of Kenya. Please welcome to come to speak, Dr. John. Our first speaker is Bishop John Warari.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Warari from the Interreligious Council of Kenya, where I have been serving in the executive board, seconded there by the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya. During my tenure in the Interreligious Council of Kenya, that is where I met with Lady Madam Sujata, who is the current chair of the Hindu Council of Kenya. And she is also the current treasurer of Interreligious Council of Kenya. And I have been amazed by the work that is being done by all the members of the Hindu Council, because as they serve humanity, they are serving the Almighty God. And I'm reminded some scriptures that are found in the book of Matthew, chapter number 25, from verse 35. These are the words of our Lord in Christianity. And he says, I was hungry. He was talking to the disciples, his followers. I was hungry and you fed me. I was sick and you came and visited me and took care of me. I was in prison and you visited me. And then the disciples would wonder and ask him, Lord, when were you hungry and when did we feed you? When were you sick and we came visiting you? When were you in prison and we came visiting you? And he said, when you visit the sick, when you feed the hungry, you are visiting me. You are doing service to me. And we've just concluded a global peace conference held at the Radisson Blu Hotel that brought participants from over 25 countries. Among them, allow me to mention the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, Lady Salif, the former president of Liberia, and many, many other participants. The global peace, which I was humbly requested in the preparation of this Global Peace Conference by the two secretariats of Interreligious Council of Kenya and that of Global Peace Foundation Kenya, to chair so that we can come together for these 3 days and speak about one family under God. That Global Peace Conference has enlightened my heart, and it's in line with those words that our Lord spoke in Matthew 25, that I was sick, I was hungry, I was in prison. I mentioned the Global Peace Conference because we all are one big family. And we are gifted differently. There are 3 T's that I always speak about. T number 1 is time. Almighty God has given us time. And time is universal. It is a blessing to each one of us. And we give our time to serving humanity. When I was reminded by Madam Sujata about this conference, I was very tired. I wanted to go and rest, but I said, no, let me come and join brothers and sisters, because in serving, like our topic says, that is the pathway to God. And I'm so thrilled here today that as one family, we are all gifted with time. The other T is treasure. When we talk of medical camps, it costs money. And money is your sweat. But you are serving the Almighty God by giving, because in giving you shall also receive. Your treasure, where it is, that is where your heart is. There are some people who have lifted and elevated their money, and their money becomes their God in small g. The other T that we are all given by the Almighty God, that treasure we have mentioned, talent, and it's going to come to my mind, and we are going to share with you. We are all gifted differently. So when Jesus says, I was hungry, there are some of us here who have more than enough. Instead of what you have going to waste, you put it aside and you give to those who do not have. And he said, you visited me when I was in prison. Last year in December, I took 26 pastors to Committee Prison to visit the prisoners and to give them the Christmas gifts. And the prisoners were looking to us like we are very special, because we went there with our titles, bishops, we went with our titles, big titles, reverends. And when I was given an opportunity to speak to them, I said to them, the only difference between us and you is that we, the big bishops that have come to visit you, we have not been caught. Because we also have mistakes. When driving, we overspeed, we overlap, we get angry, and we are human. So we told them that we have come to visit with you because you are family. In the book of John, chapter 13, the disciples were having a discussion. They were asking themselves, who among them is the greatest? And what their master and our master did, he took a bowl of water and a towel, and he knelt down and started washing their feet. It was a gesture that if you want to be the greatest, then you must be a servant to all. A few days ago, I was thinking about the positions that we hold as Christian ministers. Some of us, we have bodyguards, we have chase cars, big titles, and I'm not against it. But I believe the greatest title that can be bestowed to us is that of a servant, serving others, washing others' feet. I had an opportunity at one time through the organization of Evangelical Alliance of Kenya to visit the president. And we had thought very deeply on the gift we can give him. And please, a disclaimer, I didn't say which president, whether the past or the present. And when we visited with him, our committee felt the best gift we can give him is a towel to remind him he is a servant. So we wrapped the towel very carefully. It went through the security search, and he received it. And we told him, Mr. President, the meaning of that towel is that God has called you to serve the people of Kenya. Today, I feel in my heart I should give all of you a piece of a towel so that everywhere we go, we remember that we have been called by the Almighty to serve others. It is my joy to be here. It is my joy to come and share with you. I'm amazed at the service that you give to humanity. And I'm not flattering. I mean it from the depth of my heart. I have told many times my sister, Sujata, at the Sai Center in Kangemi, I know the feeding program that goes on. And we have a children's home. And I spoke to Madam Sujata about the 60 children that we have in Kahawa West, orphans. And she told me, anytime you have a need, come and pick some food for the children. That to me is service to God. And one day, when we stand before the Almighty, He will remember your service. Not even one day. He will remember you even as you live on this planet Earth. He will bless you in many ways. When you give, it shall be given back to you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together, it will be given. You can't outbeat God in giving. You give and He gives back to you. You cannot become poor because you give to the poor. Our Bible says, he who gives to the poor lends to God. And God is not a debtor of anyone. I submit. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Mrs. Sujata Kochamaraju, the chairman of the Hindu Council of Kenya.
Pranam, my humble pranam to Sri Sathya Sai Baba, and thank you, Brother Rao, for organizing this conference. It is my pleasure to talk about our Sai conference. I'll start with the S. S is the service. Today we are talking about the service. And I'm very fortunate to work very closely with the Interreligious Council of Kenya, with Bishop Warari. I think myself and Bishop Warari, we are in 4 organizations together, we are working. And always we work with Christian and Muslims. I never TG. I'll sit with him. He will give me some blessings and knowledge. And I never felt that is in the Buddhism. It is everything is the same. As our Sai devotees, we believe in one religion, the religion of love. The people, they will select you and they'll say, okay, you are the leader. In the Sai, because I grew up with the Sai messages, so I can give only our Sai message. He said, you are a sevak. Sevak means you are a servant. If the servant become the nayak, the leader, you see the country or the institution will grow. So because you work like a servant, sometimes I don't feel I am the chairman of Hindu Council or I do some, I'll go and cook, I'll do and everything. So that gives me lot of that inner happiness, peaceful. Yes, I am serving my community. And first thing is, people, they will come, they want to share whatever the problems they are facing. So that Swami says, you have 2 ears to listen, yeah, and only 1 mouth to talk. So listening to somebody's problems, they'll get lot of satisfaction. Something as somebody is there to listen to us. Most of us this now digital, everyone, they don't have the time to listen to them. You listen to them, you understand. You know, mostly our brain, our Swami has one nice book, Monkey Mind. It immediately when people they start, yes, I know it's a problem. They'll start giving, they don't listen to them, then start giving them the solutions. But when people they'll come to us, they want to share their problems, first we have to listen to them. This everything that's foundation, I got it from the Sai. The Sai gave us all the good foundation. Now I am in 10 organizations in the executive member. But people they say, how can you manage? The time management is also Swami says. What is the time management we are doing? Everything we are doing the service, then we'll say, oh, I don't have the time, I'm busy. No, you have to give, you have to put your time management, you have to do it. How important that time is important. When I'm 18 years, I taught in our Sathya Sai Center, the Balavikas, teaching the children. It is a commitment. Even if you see our Swami's Balavika syllabus, they say 5 Ds are very important. Yeah. So how you have to dedicate your time. The dedication, determination. Yes, I'm going to teach these children. Listen to them. You know, as Swami said, you have to, our children, these young children, they are going to be the good citizens. How to bring the good citizens? We have to give the value-based education. If you see the value-based education, if they come small children, 4 years, 5 years, you talk to them about 3 H's. How the 3 H's? The mind, heart, and the hands. Whatever, you know, we'll see in as a Balvikas teacher, whatever that, you know, the thought comes here, from here, and it goes to your heart, we examine that one, whether it is good or bad. If it is a good, your hands will do the good actions. You know, that small, the children, when they teach the sponge, the brain is like a sponge. They absorb all the good things. Then they will become the good citizens. If these good citizens will become the politicians or the leaders, they will serve the country. They serve the institutions, they serve the companies, the selfless service, they will do it. So that value-based education is very, very important. Also, we teach the children the 5 values of our Sathya Sai values. Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. Love, Satya Dharma is the right conduct. Prema is love, non-violence, and the peace. They are the 5 pillars in our Sathya Sai. So these are very, very important. These are the one, as our Hinduism also says, and also Swami says, we are Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. Whole universe is the family. So that's why we'll give importance to the environment. And Brother Rao also, he said in the beginning, he said our 5 mothers, even we, that's why we'll take care of our environment. We'll take care of our Gomata. So all these things we'll teach, and we are doing the service. The first S is very, very important. I don't know if you ask me, then I don't know how my time limit, I can talk a lot about our service. Thank you for this opportunity. Thanks for this opportunity.
Our final speaker from the Interfaith panel is Bhante Umla, a Buddhist monk from the Nairobi Buddhist Temple.
Good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be here today, and we as especially members of the multi-religious community, I think we all feel the same about Madam Sujata and her efforts to bring us together and provide a platform for us to communicate, share, and learn from one another. So I also appreciate her efforts. We had several meetings since I met her. I would like, if you don't mind, take maybe a minute or two to experience peace together, to be silent, to consciously, purposely lead the mind into a place of peace. So you can put away the phone if you can, and just to relax and feel comfortable. And turn your attention to your breath and feel the flow of your breath. Breathing in, follow the breath to the center of your chest. And as you breathe out, relax your chest. Breathing in consciously, each time you breathe out, visualize that you release, you relax, you let go, and relax your chest. Relax. Your breath constantly happens in the present moment. So feel connected to the breath and see whether you can let the mind be in the present moment and free the mind from noise of the past and the future. If you really tune in and feel the flow of your breath, connect to the sensation of the flow of your breath, follow the breath to the center of your chest and breathe out consciously, immediately you feel a sense of peace. So feel each breath and allow each breath to bring peace to your heart. As you breathe out, relax your body so your mind be free of noise from the past and the future, but be connected to the present moment and allow each breath to be a peaceful breath. And breathing in peacefully and consciously, let's take a moment to feel gratitude for this opportunity to come together and share, care, learn and grow as members of Sri Sathya Sai Baba, and feel gratitude for this opportunity. And with that, remind yourself you have in your heart the potential to make this a meaningful, peaceful, joyful, harmonious experience. So all of us who are here today will remind ourselves until this conference is over, let's make an effort to connect with one another with respect and kindness, appreciation, and if something hurtful has happened, to forgive and to know that this place is turned into a sacred place by bringing harmonious consciousness, a spiritual consciousness, a loving consciousness, and respectful consciousness, knowing that everybody walked through the doors of this center are spiritual companions, and we feel harmonious connection, and we teach at the same time, learn from one another. And thank you so much. Now you can open the eyes and bring a gentle smile to yourself and know that this place is going to be transformed into more of a spiritual space for all of you to feel peacefully connected. And thank you. And I, as a Buddhist monk, I was sent to the temple when I was 13 years old, and I was ordained at the age of 14. Now, this month, I celebrated my 66th birthday. So most of my life, I have been a monk. And when I first visited Puttapati, the Sai Baba Center, that was in 1982. I spent 1 week there. And there are a lot of stories to share, but I was a genuine, young, naive seeker who went off to India by myself by taking a boat from Sri Lanka to India, and then traveled by train and visited many gurus and yogis. My intention was very clear and very pure, and I was very passionate about meeting and learning gurus and yogis and the spiritual masters in 1982. So the life has been divided to two. I do many projects across the globe, I used to at least, and to serve humanity through disaster relief programs and humanitarian work. And I also conduct many programs, spiritual programs, meditation retreats, and Buddhist study programs, and so on. And I'm originally from Sri Lanka, but I have lived abroad most of my life. And Dr. Rao was mentioning to me to say a few words in 10 minutes about the teachings of the Buddha. And Buddha's life begins as Prince Siddhartha, 2,600 years ago. He was born as the son of a king who ruled a small kingdom in the foothills of Himalayan mountains. And he grew up with all the luxury and comfort of a prince. But there were many unanswered questions as he grew up. When he grew up to be a young prince, there were many questions about life, about old age, about death, about the purpose and the meaning of life. When the formal education provides no answers, he make a drastic change in his life at the age of 29. When he was just 29 years old, he decided to renounce family life and become Prince Siddhartha, became a Yogi Siddhartha. What is interesting, especially during this period in the history of the planet, especially in India, there were a lot of genuine seekers who had dedicated their life for the search of truth and meaning in life. There was a heightened level of spiritual consciousness, and most of the seekers were genuinely committed. And there were thousands of people who get together, and especially men, got together and renounced family life and genuinely dedicated for the search of truth. So when Prince Siddhartha, at the age of 29, realized that the formal intellectual academic education provide no answers, that period especially also was another belief that you can't reach the truth, you can't touch the truth, you can't awaken the truth through intellectual speculation, conceptual analysis, or conceptual knowledge. But you can reach, touch, and awaken the truth within yourself, or the wisdom within you, only if you silence your mind, if you quieten your mind and free the mind from all the noise, get into a quiet and peaceful state, you have the ability to know what is good, what is not good, what is right, what is wrong, and also the ultimate truth that governs the whole existence, including your life and the journey of your own life. So with that belief, he renounced and he joined these yogis for 6 years. He was practicing under many different gurus and yogis and attaining a deeper level of inner transformations. And then eventually, sitting under a tree called Bodhi tree, he went through a process of transformation. We call it dhyanic transformation. And then the 4 levels of awakening or enlightenment, and he experienced what we all refer to as nirvana, or unshakable state of inner peace, where his mind was completely free from greed, hatred, and delusion, and there were no shaking anymore in the mind. Because of that, the body was completely free of any stress or anxiety. The mind was totally clear and pure, and the thoughts that were rising in his mind came from the wisdom in your heart, in his heart, and that he did not need any references or readings or other things, because that is where he reached as we experienced transformation. In that moment, he also realized that when once you're free from this self-centered image of who you think you are, when once you're free from the egocentric perception of who you think you are, when once you become such a pure light within you because of the awakening in your heart, and he also began to realize, this is not about me. Every normal human being have the potential to clear their minds, clean their minds, purify their minds, transform their minds, and come to the place of light and wisdom and peace that I have experienced. So when he realized that out of compassion for all living beings and humanity, without any self-interest or selfishness, he started to spread his experience as a message where the human beings of all the other seekers could relate to. And the teachings, especially on those days, it was not a religion, or he didn't preach religion, he didn't preach belief, and his whole teaching, which is known as Dhamma, is a very clear, practical psychotherapy and psychology. Because the whole teachings of the Buddha is about the mind, the power and potential of human mind, the pain, suffering, unhappiness, misery, the stress, anxiety that every human being has to go through during lifetime, the reality of birth, old age, and death that we all have to face. And so all this has to be addressed by really relating, by cleaning the mind, transforming the mind, and broadening your perspective from the insight that flow through your heart from within. And it was so clear. So many people who came to the Buddha and became his students, and we call them students, and the Buddha simply held the mirror. And the whole thing, the heart of Buddhist practice is known as meditation, or vipassana and samatha practice. And the heart of the teachings of the Buddha is known as Four Noble Truths, universal principles, the truth about the existence and the conflicts and the misery and the suffering that are natural part of our existence as human beings. And the cause and the source of this conflict, misery and pain and suffering and unhappiness is the second truth. And then that we can free ourselves and find happiness, peace, and meaning and enlightenment. And the third noble truth, the fourth, is Buddha very clearly described. We call it 8 steps towards awakening. 8 steps towards spiritual transformation. 8 steps towards freeing oneself from all anxiety and stress. So it's an inner journey, a self-reflective, introspective journey. Because very clearly Buddha said that if you don't turn attention to yourself, realize where the cause of suffering is, because every bit of your pain, suffering, unhappiness, misery occurs within you. And when once you realize that, and you know that when the mind enters into a state of peace, in that moment, you are in harmony with yourself and your heart opens. And when the mind gets lost in chaos, especially egocentric, selfish attachments, your perception of life and yourself get distorted, and you're going to run after this mirage, and while causing so much misery and suffering and adding more and more into misery and suffering in your life. And you're not taking any steps to free yourself from them. So this is what the essence of the teachings of the Buddha is. So I think that it reminds each one of us the power and potential that we have within us, the beauty and the wisdom that we all carry in our hearts. And we need to stop or slow down, take that time to be still if possible, and cultivate that introspective awareness. And from that, what you get, you cannot get it from other places. So I want to wish you all more spiritual wisdom and compassion, and may you find more peace, harmony, and happiness in your life. May there be peace, love, and harmony in your life. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much to our interfaith panel. Swami declared that there is no difference amongst various religions. In all religions, the goal is one. A visual art competition is very valuable for our Zone 9 learners, as art has a controlling influence on the teachers' and learners' thoughts and actions. It is through art that man's emotional character is revealed and developed. I would like to call Brother Ruben Pillay, a board member of SSSIO, and the SSSIO team to hand out the award.
Om Sai Ram. We want to introduce Sister Doris Hampton to do the presentation of the awards. Sister Doris plays a pivotal part of the Sri Sathya Sai International Education in Human Values. She has attended and coordinated many programs in Sathya Sai education and also community programs. Sister Doris will now do the presentation of the Zone 9 Art Competition. I have great pleasure in calling upon Sister Doris Hampton.
It gives me great pleasure to call out the awardees. From the Sathya Sai School in Nigeria, Isaac Sampson. From Kisaju, Jeffrey K. Charlotte. Antanarivi Mira Rambojan. Old Tafu George Bozamper. Go through now. You can go through now. Yes. Chatsworth, Brother Nelson Modley, who will be collecting 2 awards on behalf of the winners. Puturu Nimesh Shah. You've got 2. You're supposed to take 2. So. Sathya Sai School, Uturu, Brother Nimesh Shah, are you here? Not yet. Om Sai Ram, and once again, congratulations to all our awardees. Thank you.
Loving Om Sai Ram, dear brothers and sisters. Thank you once again to the SAIC team. Another round of applause for the awardees. Once again, thank you for your patience. We've pivoted the program a little bit, and so we've come to our last item. before we reach the devotional singing and our closing prayers. The next item is an experience sharing from a person that is now very dear and close to me, and that is Mr. Harish Naidu, President of Sri Sathya Sai International Organization, USA. He is my fellow co-facilitator for the workshops, and recently I've had some great interactions with him and heard about his stories, and it's my great privilege to introduce him today. Mr. Harish Naidu came into the fold of Swami in 1968 at the age of 4. He was greatly influenced by his parents, who were transformed by Swami's love. And they were very dedicated in their lives and in serving him. Harish moved to the USA in 1986 and holds a master's degree in electrical and computer engineering. He has held senior executive positions in technology companies. Harish has served in the SSSIO USA in various roles, including regional president and deputy national council president. He is currently serving as the national council president of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization of the United States of America. With that, I would like to hand you over to Mr. Harish Naidu. Thank you, Sairam.
I offer my humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Lord Sai. Sairam, everyone. Is everybody still here? Okay, one more Sairam, please. Sairam. Wonderful. I'm filled with gratitude. What a wonderful day it has been. I'm filled with gratitude to be on this holy land, which our beloved Lord Sai has set foot on. I'm filled with gratitude to be in the company of this glorious gathering of like-minded souls who seek oneness with the divine. I'm also very grateful to my parents, I have to say that, without whom I would not have come in contact with Sai. You know, I've had an opportunity to see their own transformation for many, many years since we came in contact with Bhagawan in 1968. And that's a story for another time. It's said that the infinite supreme can be captured only by the love of his devotees. The amount of love and effort and energy that has gone into putting this conference together has certainly captured Swami, because his presence today is very palpable, very palpable. And it is the work of all of the devotees who have put this together that has made his presence very, very present today. And just the awareness of his presence is enough to spark a positive transformation in each one of us, whether we know it or not. It's going to have an impact on our lives. Just like, as Swami has said in the Gita Vahini, the sun, all it has to be is to be present, and the life begins to sprout. So Swami's grace is like that. I'd like to share 3 short stories in the time we have. One is on Swami's quote that Leonardo Guterres shared this morning, which is, "You take 1 step towards me, and I will take 100 towards you." So this is a story that was narrated to me by my father, who had this experience. So my father, my mother, and a guest were driving from Bangalore to Puttaparthi, and the roads in India and the traffic is pretty challenging. And about maybe a quarter of the way towards Puttaparthi, he had an incident. A truck was coming in front of him, and in order to avoid it, he swerved hard, and the car literally toppled over. And it rolled over 3 times and landed on the other side of the road on the tires, but the top was gone and the entire side was tilted. And he checked with my mother. She was fine. The guest was fine. My father had a slightly broken collarbone. Long story short, he called his family in Bangalore and they came and they picked him. They took them back and he recovered, sent a telegram to Swami saying that I am delayed. Several weeks later, after he healed, they went to see Swami. And he was sitting in the veranda in Puttaparthi, waiting for Swami to come out. And right next to my father was one of his friends, Mr. Oberoi, who at that time had just resigned from being the general manager of Indian Airlines South India and had come to serve Swami. And he said to my father, you know, Swami came out about 3 weeks ago and he looked at me and he said, your friend, he drives too fast. And my father was like, you know, this is what happened to me 3 weeks ago. So he connected the dots. And when Swami called him, in the interview room, my father told Swami, Swami, you saved our lives. And Swami said, no, I did not. Your good actions saved your lives. And my father and I were discussing this message. What does this mean? My father said that I try to offer everything I do to Swami. And of course, Swami doesn't need our offering. He is full, he's complete. He doesn't need anything. But what does he do with this offering that we do to him? The offering of our actions to him, what does he do with it? He doesn't need it. He puts it in our account. And then when it is time to return the grace, when we are in trouble, when we are in difficulty, he looks, hey, is there any small deposit in this man's account? Because I want to multiply it by 1,000 times and send it back to him right now. So it is so important that we offer our actions to him. Because Swami himself has said, my nature is to give. That means it takes a lot of effort to hold back. I am looking to see whether that one little action, that one little step, have you taken? And if you have, I'm going to return it 1,000 times over, exactly when you need it the most. So that was a beautiful message that I have learned and try very much to offer every action that we do, that I do to Swami. The second story I'd like to say is about ego. Dr. Reddy said today that one of the 6 enemies is ego. And this ego, we call it edging God out. Swami says that the moment ego descends on you, I am out. I disappear in a flash. I'm not there. So back in 2002, in the early 2002, I don't know whether it was a dream or whether I had this feeling that Swami was calling all of us to visit Puttaparthi. So we went as a family, as we normally do, to visit Puttaparthi. We went there somewhere in August time frame, 2002. We had actually an exhibition at that time. The US organization had made an exhibition. We were there for Guru Purnima, the Guru Purnima time frame. And my father was the state president of the state of Tamil Nadu in India. And whenever I went there, I used to use that and say, can you give me a better seat in Kulwant Hall? And I always felt bad about it. And that day I was seated in row number 5 or row number 6 or something like that. Swami came out, he looked at me and row number 6, he said, hey, when did you come? Is your wife here? Family here? Yes, Swami. Yes, Swami. Please go inside. So we went in. And we had a beautiful session with Swami. The 4 of us were there. Me, my wife, and my two boys were little at that time. And I said, I was trying to talk to Swami, and Swami, I said, I was going to tell him, Swami, I feel bad that I keep asking for this favor. I said, Swami, whenever I come here, I sit in Kulwant Hall, and I was about to finish my sentence. Swami said, no, sit in the veranda. I said, Swami, no, they won't let me sit in the veranda. And he said, no, tell them I said. I said, okay. And then, it was going on, this conversation. We had a beautiful conversation. And Swami, when he is talking to you, he's like a family member. He's like your grandfather. How's your son? How are the children? How's your work? It's very lovely. It's just pure love. There's nothing more to, no big philosophical conversations. It's just pure love. You're a member of the family. But you feel so much that, what can I do for you, Swami? That's how you automatically feel, just being in his presence. At the end of it, I said, Swami, when should we come back? He said, come for Shivaratri the next year. So I was on cloud 9. I have an invitation to come back. I've been asked to sit in the veranda. I was, oh my God, I must be special. So I was thinking like that. I was feeling very good about it. So next year, Shivaratri, Shivaratri was in the middle of the school year. It's a little difficult to bring the little kids from the school. So we did it. And we came for Shivaratri. So, of course, I have an invitation from Swami to sit in the veranda and attend the Shivaratri function. So I went straight to the veranda. And there was this gentleman. He was a very strict gentleman. His name was Mr. Chiranjeevi Rao. And he said, who are you? I said, sir, Swami asked me to sit in the veranda. He said, if everybody tells me that, the veranda will be full. Please get out. So I was like, I didn't know what to say. Of course, I had to leave. He was a person ahead of the group there, the Seva Dal group. By then, everybody had taken note of me. Okay, this person is a black mark. He has been kicked out, so be careful. So I was not sure whether I would be allowed inside Kulwant Hall. Forget about having a seat in the veranda. So I was really upset. What is this going on? How dare this man let me not make me sit here, because Swami had told me to sit here. That was those thoughts. Then another thought came to me. Oh, he doesn't know. He's doing his job. He's doing his duty. How does he know? So all of this is going on in my head. And on Shivaratri, a Sevadal from Tamil Nadu was there serving. He happened to recognize me because I didn't know if I could enter Kulwant Hall because everybody were a black mark on me. But finally, I was able to sit somewhere in the back, and I was able to have darshan of Swami from very, very far away. And I realized at that point that Swami was teaching me that love my uncertainty. I will give you, I will take it away from you. You have to be calm, peaceful. How do you behave? That is something Swami likes a lot. And if you read his discourses, he keeps on saying that. This notion of satatam yoginaha, that means whatever happens, you have to be the same. And so that was the thought that was going through my mind. Next year, 2003, came back for Shivaratri, and not a single person blocked me. I went straight, I sat in the veranda, had a wonderful darshan, and that was the last time Swami did the Hiranyagarbha Lingam, Lingodbhavam. And I had a beautiful darshan. But nothing happened. As if the last year did not even have happened. It didn't happen. So that was about just that ego should not come in the way. Even in matters related to Swami, it should not come in the way. Oh, I have got Swami's grace. Oh, I have got, I'm so blessed to be in the presence of the avatar. I'm so blessed to be a contemporary of the avatar. All of this also can come in the way. He is out in a flash the moment you think that you have done something. Another story I would like to share is about keeping the faith. Sometimes our faith is tested. We have challenges in our lives. We all do, one way or the other. And again, Swami wants to observe how do we respond to these challenges. And it was again when the kids were very small. We had come back from a trip. My oldest son, he was about 6 years old. He developed a very high fever. about 105. Yeah, it was 105, 103, 104. It was really high. And 3 days later, he developed a big rash. His eyes were swollen shut, lips were swollen, and rashes started developing all over the skin. And we took him to the emergency. And there, they had 5 pediatricians looking at him. His white blood cell count was off the charts. And they said, look, he's exhibiting 3 out of the 5 symptoms of Kawasaki disease. And I do not know what Kawasaki disease was. All I knew was it was a motorbike. But, apparently it can affect your internal organs and so on. So that night he stayed back in the hospital, and the second one was little. So I brought the second one home. My wife stayed with my first one. And that night, all of these random thoughts was going through my mind about, what could happen. Kawasaki disease would affect internal organs. But long story short, again, he recovered and came back home. And then about 6 months later, we went to see Swami, as was our routine every year. Again, Swami called us in. And then I said to Swami this time, Swami, you saved my son's life. And then Swami said, you were so scared. He was looking at me in a very disappointed way. You were so scared. You thought he will not come back from the hospital. What kind of thoughts are these? He was telling me that. The point he was making is, do you believe that I am with you? I am supreme energy, supreme infinite Lord. I am with you. How can you be scared of anything? There is nothing in this world that should come in the way of your courage, because I am with you. And I remember, it's not enough to sing, why fear when I am here? It's not enough to just sing it. We should not have any fear. If Swami is with us, he is holding our hands, we are holding his hand, there is absolutely nothing in this world that should cause any fear for us. So that was that other message of faith that I got from that interaction with Swami. I am with you. Do not be afraid. And then I would close with this last story, again from my parents. So my parents, were invited to be with Swami in Kodaikanal. Kodaikanal is a place where Swami used to go every summer, and he used to invite some students, some devotees, and have a wonderful time in Kodaikanal. Many close interactions. And Swami plays every role to perfection. Swami is perfect in everything. And in Kodaikanal, he was the host. So he played the perfect host. And he would take care of every little thing. What rooms was assigned to which individual. This person is a light sleeper. This person snores a lot. Keep them separate. I mean, he knows every little detail about everything. Is the toiletry ready? Is the hot water coming? They have blankets in the night? I mean, he's checking. Every night he's coming to the room and checking, is this available? That's there, that there. My father was saying also, Swami wakes up before everybody else. And he doesn't turn on the lights because he doesn't want to disturb his guests. He turns a little torchlight on and he goes around and does whatever he does because he wakes up before everybody else. So that is the level of care that he shows to his guests. I was playing the perfect host. Anyway, 21 days of this, 3 weeks of this, and plus interactions and talks and so many things. At the end of it all, it had to come to an end, right? And Swami is leaving, and as he's passing by my father and mother, he asks them, are you satisfied? And my father was so overwhelmed. How can you even describe the satisfaction that was given and that they felt over the last 3 weeks? So my father said, Swami, I don't think we have done anything in this life to deserve this. It must have been something we have done in our last life. And Swami said, no, Bangaru, no. He said, not last life, last 1,000 lives. Or last 100 lives, not 1,000, 100 lives, he said. So again, The point being that all of us are here not by chance, because we have struggled, our souls have struggled for so many lifetimes to achieve this opportunity. And so we cannot waste it. We have to act with great urgency, because we don't know when this opportunity ends, because there is an end to everything. This opportunity has been earned by us, by our own souls, through lifetimes of effort. So I pray that we all take this opportunity seriously, and that this can be our last lifetime. Swami says that this is your last lifetime. You can achieve your divinity now, in this lifetime itself. So with that, I will conclude. Jai Sai Ram.
Dearest brothers and sisters, this brings us to the close of day one. Thank you, Uncle Harish, for all those beautiful experiences you've shared with us. And indeed, it's always such a joy to hear about Swami and his divine leelas and how he touches each and every one of our lives. And we could go on listening forever. But of course, all good things must come to an end. So, brothers and sisters, I'll invite my fellow MCs to the stage as we close today's program. And we would like to thank Swami for his divine grace and blessings for the proceedings for today. Dearest Swami, we love you. Thank you for your unconditional love. And may we always remember that you are the doer and we are mere instruments. There is only one religion, the religion of love.
There is only one language, the language of the heart.
There is only one caste, the caste of humanity.
As we wrap up the proceedings of day one, we reflect on the journey we've had thus far.
We share experience and love.
And we've inspired through service.
And we take this opportunity to unite in service, adoration, and illumination as one Sai family on the African continent as we share Swami's love and his message.
We hope you have enjoyed this day as well as us.
Please do join us tomorrow for day 2 of the conference, which starts at 6:30 a.m.
With that, we wish you well. Asante Sana, Jai Sai Ram.